What's good? It's your boy Skinny Suge, Vent Podcast Online. Folks was asking me for the Day 6 update. I came a day late, but I definitely didn't want to disappoint folks who wanted the support and couldn't get down there to the federal courthouse on 6th and Market and support. Again, we talking about AR Ab and OBH's federal racketeering trial. Day number 6. We on day 7 by the time you see this video. But again, I want to shout out some folks that I came into contact, had a chance to bump heads and exchange thoughts and vibrations with while we sat in on day 6 and day 7 by the time you see this. Again, Gully TV, Mac, Phil from Philly Inside Scoop. Definitely a pleasure to bump heads and vibrations and exchange energies with you brothers. And to be seen and standing for a common cause, I definitely dug that. But to get right into it, man, because listen, it definitely got very interesting very quickly, unexpectedly, on day 6. Because as again, I told you in the recap for day 5, day 6 was all about the 2 final federal agents and a records custodian from Sprint, if I'm not mistaken, was added to the bill of late. But as was expected, 2 federal agents did testify, and they were expected to close the prosecution's case. Excuse me, and send it to the defense. You gotta bear with me. I'm still under the weather a little bit. But I have my notes. I have the super chat open. I'm looking at the board. I see some cash apps. I will run down the list of those who are ardently supporting, because I definitely believe, and I'm spreading the love and recognizing greatness when I see it. And anytime you give to a cause for other than yourself, I'm definitely great. So I want to recognize that. So, however, prior to trial, we had been hearing rumors concerning No Breaks Bride. Well, I heard rumors because No Breaks Bride is somebody close to me. I definitely have an understanding with him. I've known him for quite some time. Definitely would consider him an associate of mine. And I personally had heard rumors, as well as I know many of you have, that No Breaks Bride was telling, or whatever the case may be. So yesterday, the 2 agents that I spoke about opened up this whole can of worms. And as the testimony started to shift to this hour-long statement that was presented in open court and partially played via audio, that No Breaks Bride, who the government would love to call hands gassing, but he made this statement post-arrest, keeping in mind that Bryce was on the run when the indictment fell. He was arrested after taking flight to LA after some time. And when he was arrested, this statement was allegedly made post-arrest in LA to federal agents who offered him a statement of proffer. Anyone who knows what a statement of proffer is a proliferation of agreement between 2 parties of cooperation. Right? So Bryce is in custody in LA. And let's say this up front. I want to get this out of the way. There is nothing in Bryce's statement that would indicate or that would amount to snitching. Bryce did not snitch. He did not take the government up on that offer of proffer. He did not tattletale. He did not rat. Whatever position you want to assume and whatever nickname you want to give it, he did none of those things. And I want to get that out the way up front, because I have been hearing the rumors as well. So there's nothing in Bryce's statement that would indicate or would amount to snitching. Just point blank, his short story shorter. Right? So, secondly, if anybody in this indictment, in my estimation, should have been the one to take a plea deal because of the amount of evidence stacked up against them or the lack thereof, then it would have been Bryce. Right? If anybody was entitled to take a plea deal for a shorter sentence based on the amount of evidence stacked up against them or the lack thereof, in this case, in my estimation, it would have been No Breaks Bride. And if you would have read the indictment, the entirety of it, which I provided the link to, you would have noticed that No Breaks Bras is hardly mentioned in this indictment. You dig what I'm saying? His involvement was minimal at best, right? As the feds are alleging. So, short story shorter, like, Bras is really on trial for associating with some niggas that he know. Some dudes that he has known since childhood, right? And for playing the middleman, as the feds allege, in some of the indictments stated conspiracies, right? So, short story short, No Breaks Bras, aka Hands Gasson, is on trial for associating with lifelong friends and for being a middleman, allegedly being a middleman in this particular indictment's stated conspiracies, right? So, nevertheless, like, you just have to know better, because while what Bras did was not snitching on any level, it was a critical mistake. It was a crucial error on his part, and it was just a complete lack of judgment, in my estimation. Again, because I'm nobody to say, you know, what his line of thinking was in that situation. Nevertheless, I just believe it to be a crucial error. It's a critical thinking error, right? And just point blank, really a nutty decision, right? To sit down and interview and say anything to police or legal authorities, right, after having been Mirandized and made aware and advised of your right to remain silent and your right to counsel. After that, it's really nothing. It's nothing you have to say to legally to authorities. Not your name, not your address, not your date of birth, not your social, not nothing, right? So it's a crucial mistake because it came back to bite him in his ass along with his fellow co-defendants, because, mind you, Bras is already in the federal system, right? Waiting to be classed and sentenced and shipped out to his home jail, right? So that statement, because of its nature in a conspiracy, Bras does not even have to be present on trial for them to play it and have an effect on those who are remaining at trial, who are, again, AR Meliano, you got Khaz, and I'm always forgetting somebody, but it's just be a lot of information running through my head at one time. But it's 4 individuals, like I said yesterday. For those who were not privy to yesterday's video, the recap of day 5, only 4 individuals remain on trial. Dennis Harmon took a plea deal some time back, and with the exception of Dark Low, in a separate incident, was arrested and charged with witness intimidation. But all those on trial is just is Khaz. I'm sorry. I'm tripping. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Bras is on trial. So yeah, even if Bras wasn't on trial, it would have been admissible in court. So forgive me for my earlier error. But Bras is on trial with Meliano, and Khaz. So not only did it come back to bite him in his rear end, but it also came back to you open up a can of demons on everybody else because of the nature of what conspiracy is and the lack of what the government is obligated to prove by statute. All right. So back to day 6. This statement was made like it was a factually recorded statement, right? It has legal standing, and Braz's attorney, whom I've had the pleasure of knowing for over 10 years, he was not able to get the statement thrown out for any legal reasoning, right? So in open court, this statement was presented, it was partially played, and it was damaging, right? It wasn't damaging to the degree that one might think when we're talking about RICOs and racketeering and things of that nature, but it opened up a can of worms. You dig what I'm saying? So, I looked at my notes. All right, so let's talk about it. Interrogation, post-arrest, LA, FBI, Hands Gasson, a.k.a. No Breaks Bras, right? They Mirandize him, advise him of his right to remain silent, and to counsel, right? Then one of the FBI special agents asks Bras for permission to look through his phone, right, for any electronic evidence of Bras's connections to the superseding indictment. Braz's response is, go ahead, y'all ain't gonna find nothing. Go ahead, y'all ain't gonna find nothing. Right? Now, when I heard this in open court, I'm assuming that Braz erased everything in his phone. You've been on the run, you've been in LA. Everything damning and incriminating in your phone should be gone. Understand? So he says, go ahead, y'all ain't gonna find nothing. But find something they did. They found a lot of shit. They found a lot. You think what I'm saying? So, keeping in mind, right, having been on the run and offered the chance to have erased anything incriminating in his phone that would be physically and tangibly in his phone, because they also searched his hard drive, right? So, they found some things. So what they found was, the first thing was some text between Braz and Jamal Blanding, right, who was Khaz, who the feds are alleging to be Khaz, right? So they found some text between Jamal Blanding, Khaz, and Braz regarding drug deals to be and already made, right? They also found some calls and some texts to and from AR-Ab and Braz concerning some business deals that were legitimate business. They look to be legitimate business deals, but again, because of the nature of what conspiracy in a RICO case is, the feds are alleging that every business deal that emanated between Braz and AR-Ab was illegitimate on its face because of another federal statute that says that you're not allowed to profit from illegal activities, right? So everything that emanated from that dirty money in the beginning, which the feds are alleging was dirty money, they're saying that it's illegitimate on its face. So it's neither here nor there whether those phone calls and texts were about legitimate business dealings or not, right? They're all fruit of the poisonous tree. You dig what I'm saying? So, and of course, after the calls between AR-Ab and the text between AR-Ab and Braz and the text messages between Braz and Jamal Blanding, Khaz, they also found some text from an unidentified individual who was requesting something illegal from Braz, and Braz gave them Khaz's number, right? So because he gave them Khaz's number, he thereby identified that phone number and that phone as belonging to Jamal Blanding, right? And that in no way, shape, or form amounts to snitching or ratting. Nevertheless, it was a costly error. It was a crucial mistake. And because of that, the feds were able to then take everything associated with that number and attach it to Khaz, who was also on trial, right? And there was a moment between Khaz and Braz of, like, you know, just a look of a disgust. And I just hope that, you know, I'm sure 100% that Ab, Khaz, and everybody else associated with this case and OB, I'm sure they don't look at Braz as a rat, because in no way, shape, or form is he that. But I'm sure they disappointed to a large degree, because the look that they exchanged between them two was like of disgust. And I really have a relationship with Braz, and I know of Khaz through mutual friends. So I know I'm staying prayed up for them, and I'm hoping that, you know, mutually it ain't a moment of self-destruction, because that's really what it's all about when it boils down, is the feds will use any tactic to cause you to collapse in on yourself, especially in cases where you don't plead out. Keeping in mind that the feds' conviction rate is 98% for a reason, because most cases in the federal system are pled out before they even get to trial, right? So the numbers are misleading in regards to dudes who take these cases to trial, right? They are winnable, right? Because the feds have the tendency of overcharging. You dig what I'm saying? Whereas the state sometimes has a tendency to overcharge depending on where you live and what locality or municipality or whatever. But more times, often than not, the state will undercharge, hoping to just land. Right? The state will go for the whole gusto, or the feds, they go for the whole gusto or not. My experience in federal prison tells me that, and dudes that I know who've also been through the federal prison system and court system with me and alongside me will say the same. So there is a chance that they beat this, but that presentation of post-arrest statement was damning. That post-arrest testimony was damning. It was crucial. It was crippling, right? And it did decrease in my estimation, their chances of coming out with a solid win. I just got to increase my prayers and my du'as. I ask everybody who's watching to increase their prayers and their du'as, whatever religion you might subscribe to, or whatever non-religion you subscribe to, or whatever theory of higher power, whatever. I just ask that you call on that, man, because it, like again, I said in the recap of video 5, is really not about any specific attachment to AR-AB and No Breaks Bras or Khaz, right, or Meliano. It's really about just black men in a system that, you know, means them no good, will serve them in no way, shape, or form towards rehabilitation, will not improve any critical thinking errors that they have, or lack thereof, will not improve their thinking in any manner. It will just deteriorate your mind, your physical health, your mental well-being, your relationship on the outside with friends and family. So we have exchanged slavery for imprisonment in a wide sense of the notion. And anything we can do to detach ourselves from that and destroy that system and that foundation, I'm all for that. So, you know, that's really what it's all about. So stay prayed up, man. Keep them in your du'as. And as far as the rest of the trial, was really more presentation about some electronic text messages and some social media posts. And we already beat that dead horse to death. So I don't really want to get back into that. That's pretty much it, man. Again, it's Skinny Suge, man. Event podcast online. Stay prayed up, man. Till the next time, I will be reporting back for day 7. And I'm going to stay with you all the way up until the verdict, inshallah. You know, God willing, I'm here for that. And I ask again that anybody who has a free second to come on down to 79 North 6th Street to the federal courthouse. You must have identification, proper and valid identification. Come on down, show your support, man. I know every brother on the panel would love to see you, whether you know them or not, man. You know, sometimes I see the brothers, they turn around, they just see familiar faces in the crowd. And by familiar, I mean in skin tone. I mean, you're dealing with a white system. So when you turn around and you see, you know, similitude in skin tone, I see smiles. The smiles increase, and the general state of well-being increases on their faces and in their body and their posture and everything. So you get a free second, man. Come on down. If not, man, just send your well wishes. Do not forget, because this is just the head of what's to come. You dig what I'm saying? When you don't support acts like this, you're just sending a message that for the federal government, it's all right. We're just going to break up every black family in every black neighborhood. So based on your ties of friendship, you could be next. You dig what I'm saying? The conspiracy is just, as they put it, a game, which is just some dude that I've known since free lunch. You know, and because me and him associate, I'm tied in a RICO case with him now, and any of you can be labeled the kingpin, and life can be on the table for any of us. So stay prayed up, man. Until the next John, man. It's in my heart. I love y'all. You know, subscribe to the channel, like the video. You know, leave your comments, thoughts, criticisms, whatever. I'm open to all of. Shout out to everybody. Matter of fact, before we go, let me shout out everybody in my Cash App and my Super Chat. All right. I definitely see Nova. I see Right of Flight. Right of Flight, thank you for the donation yesterday. Let me see. We got Sig Soul Warner. I'm gonna take name that is. You might want to change that, John. Like I said, they do have a social media task force out here. We got Councilwoman Helen Jim in the building. She donated some bread, some small bread. Maul and Phil from Philly Inside Scoop. Definitely in a Super Chat. Art Haywood in the Super Chat. I see Rab. I don't know when the verdict should be in. I don't know when the trial is going to end. I'm looking at your comment and your question right now. I'm not really sure of when exactly the trial will end and be given to a jury for verdict. But also Liz Fedler, I appreciate the donation. Movita, appreciate the donation. Brian Sims, appreciate the donation. Thugger, 215, 1PA, I appreciate the donation. Everybody in the Super Chat, I can't really run down this whole list of names. It's about 70 of y'all, but I will send a written message to each and every one of y'all, thanking you for your support of the channel. Spread the word, and we here.